It's a special World Whisky Day edition of Kanpai Planet as we pit Suntory and Nikka's flagship world whiskies head to head. Hi, welcome to Kanpai Planet, bringing you the world of Japanese drinks direct from the heart of Tokyo. I'm Mac, and today I'm reviewing Suntory's Ao versus Nikka Session. Both of these whiskies are world whiskies, meaning, well, exactly that they're a blend of whiskies from Japan and overseas. The concept isn't new. Kirin's 10 Distilleries was a Japan exclusive release from back in 1989, a blend of whiskies from 10 of Seagram's distilleries. Fast forward to today, and the Chichibu Distillery's biggest selling product, Ichiro's Malted Grain, is a blend of whiskies from the 5 major whiskey producing nations on the planet. So that's the backdrop, plus the drive for greater transparency in Japanese whiskies and practices, which I've discussed in other videos. Against that backdrop, on the 16th of April 2019, Suntory released Ao, their first explicitly labelled world whiskey. And Suntory reckon that it's the first blend of whiskey from the 5 major whiskey producing regions from distilleries, all owned by a single firm. Ao means blue in Japanese. It alludes to the ocean, which connects all of these whiskey regions around the world. But you all know that because you watched and internalized my How to Pronounce Japanese Whiskey video, didn't you? Ao was originally a Japan-only release, but it started to become available in late 2020 as a global travel retail exclusive in 16 major markets. And yes, travel. So definitely a medium-term decision from Suntory given the global pandemic. Beam Suntory is the 3rd largest distiller on the planet. So Suntory's 5th generation chief blender, Shinji Fukuyo, had a lot of choice when deciding on which whiskies to put in his new blend, and he eventually settled on 7 distilleries. But we don't know which specific whiskies from those distilleries are used and in what ratio. The end result is a 43% ABV whiskey. It costs 5,500 yen after tax, which is about $50 US. I very much like the design of Ao. The bottle is 5-sided, representing those 5 major whiskey producing regions, and the word Ao is written in calligraphy on the label, which aligns with Suntory's other major brands. So, let's check it out. Okay, color-wise, very amber. Although there's so much going on with Ao, we really don't know about things like added color or chill filtration. So let's move straight on to the nose. Ooh, that is very fruity. I'm getting banana, I'm getting peaches, I'm getting pears, I'm getting satsumas. I'm even getting some kiwi as well. I mean, you get the idea. It's fruity. Alongside that, you've got raisins, vanilla, some malt, some caramel. You've also got some wood notes and nuts. Actually, I think the wood lingers for quite some time. And then finally, a bit of smokiness appears at the end. So overall, very fruity and mellow on the nose. Let's check it out on the palate. Well, the fruit's certainly there. We don't need to list them all again. You've also got some vanilla and I think some butterscotch. And I say I think because I've been living in Japan for 15 years and I've no idea what butterscotch tastes like anymore. As it develops, you've got some smokiness, some spiciness, some cinnamon, ginger, white pepper. You've also got a vegetal note, which was there on the nose, but very, very, very subtle. And now much, much more pronounced on the palate. So, medium-bodied, I'd say, very mellow, very smooth, and a very easy dram. A little too easy. The finish is medium-long. I would have expected that smokiness to stay, but it actually disappears double quick. I've got some woody notes, some vanilla, caramel, cream, and some softer herbal and floral notes. All right, so what's the overall verdict? Well, it's the Ronseal quick drying wood stain of whiskies.
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
So what do I mean by that? Well, it is indeed a blend of whiskies from 7 distilleries. And I'm a big fan of the work of those distilleries. But Suntory have managed to combine them so none of them particularly stand out. It feels to me like a more premium version of Suntory's Toki. You know what? The Ao reminds me of some of the higher end Johnny Walkers, which without a doubt Suntory were inspired by, but with some of that sweetness that you get here, replacing the light peat that you get in the JWs. It's probably best consumed in a highball. In fact, Suntory kindly provide you with 5 highball recipes on the Ao website, each one intending to highlight one of the 5 regions. So overall, pleasant, a nice mouthfeel, but it doesn't wow me. But you will love it if you fetishize Japanese blending. By the way, I'd love you to be part of our fast-growing community of drinks lovers. We have big plans for this channel, so please like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell icon for all notifications for more content from Kanpai Planet. So, on to Nikka Session. Now, Session was released at the end of September 2020, and although the company may not admit it, it is without a doubt Nikka's response to Ao. Nikka Session is the company's first new brand of whiskey in 6 years. Now, this is very important to understand because it's a problem that companies like Nikka face. Sure, their aged whiskey supply will normalize over time, but will consumers feel any affinity with a brand who has delivered nothing new for a long time? The story behind the branding is fascinating. If you tell a Brit that there's a whiskey called Session, they'll probably try to kill the bottle in one evening. That's not the look Nikka were going for. They were evoking a music session, a jam session, a jazz session, where an ensemble of musicians collaborate together, but each individual player's talents and solos are allowed to shine. You can see that in the design of the whiskey. You've got this Yves Klein inspired bottle, you've got this kind of modern art label, and this second S reversed to make the shape of a violin. Speaking of Nikka and Session, a Japanese whiskey nerd shout out to Nikka Super Session, a Nikka blend from back in the day. So, IKB bottles aside, what's actually in it? Well, they emphasize that it's an all malt blend of whiskies from Nikka's Yoichi and Miyagikyo distilleries in Japan and Scotland's Ben Nevis distillery, which they own. Now, if you dig deep, you'll find comments from the team behind Session saying that there were indeed other Scottish malts involved, but we've got no idea what they are. So Nikka, if you're watching, more transparency, please. It was blended by Yuji Onagawa. His background is in beer and shochu, and this is actually his first time blending whiskey. Interestingly, he wasn't a big whiskey drinker until this project. So this is a 43% ABV whiskey, and it's 4,180 yen after tax, which is about $38 US or so. Okay, let's check out the color. Oh, lighter than the Ao, similar in color to the new Taketsuru. So kind of light gold, almost a pink gold. Time for the nosing. Ooh. Oh, this is lovely. This is a lot of fun. Oh, I'm getting oranges and apples, peaches and pears and pineapple, ripening fruit. It is sweet, so you're going to pick up some raisins, some caramel, and I'm getting a bit of vanilla too. I'm looking for the Yoichi and that distinctive peatiness from the distillery up in Hokkaido. And it's there, but it is very, very well balanced. Fantastic. Kanpai. Let's go on the palate. That is smooth. That is creamy. You've got some sweetness and fruit, but not as pronounced as on the nose. The Miyagikyo is definitely the foundation of this, and I think the Ben Nevis is there adding a bit of depth. After a few mouthfuls, I'm getting that smokiness and spice that I'd associate with Yoichi. On the finish, medium, but this is where things get interesting because it's quite a bitter finish, which is not what I would have expected from the nose and the palate. And a lot of that smokiness and spice starting to really kick in now. So, overall, lovely. And a very easygoing dram, but a lot of complexity. Great harmony of aroma and flavour and mouthfeel, which is really what these guys were going for. They've done a great job managing that peat of the Yoichi and really using it to add complexity to the palate and also the finish. This would work well in a highball too, but I think it's just a great, neat sipping whiskey. So, head to head, I've got to give this one to Nikka. A lovely experience, fantastic mouthfeel, and they've really nailed it. And it costs 25% less too. Hopefully Nikka are watching, they realise foreigners love it, and they make this whiskey available to you guys who are watching overseas. I love World Whiskies, taking some drinks from elsewhere and putting your own spin on it. Just be sure to label them appropriately. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Happy World Whiskey Day to you all, and until next time, Kanpai!